Yo, what's up, everyone? How y'all doing? What's up, Beardy? What's up, Barb? Good to see you. Let me grab this Discord link here. Yeah, timer's still running. What's up, J-Rock? How's it going, buddy? Daniel, good to see you. Put a 1 in the chat if you made some money today. Yeah, unfortunately, Daniel, I got a little bit of a resurgence of the cold or cough or whatever. But hopefully that goes away. Well, if you were on the sidelines today, we're going to go over how to trade pumps like this in the future. As they can definitely feel like it's hard to get in. Yeah, that's the hard one, Joey. What's up, Rob Dared? How's it going, man? Appreciate you all being here. Yeah, man, this night time slot, the night folks show up. I know that. Well, we're going to talk about it, Joey. There's ways to get in with managing your risk and the smallest stop loss, things like that. But yes, I mean, if you're, it's dangerous layering in unless you really have a plan and a clear invalidation, but you can definitely do that. What a great start to the month, though. Let's look at this this monthly candle. Man, it looks like a whole month's gone by, huh? Not bad. Yeah, half a month. It might be time to say goodbye to this chart and start over. We'll obviously keep these levels on here, but everything else has kind of been mitigated, so we get to start over today. All right. Great to have all of y'all here. So obviously, Bitcoin has pumped a lot today. It's gone from this spider line to this spider line. Pretty nice. Okay. So, again, on this channel, right, we've been talking about this. Pretty much this whole move down, right? Talking about waiting for the 4-hour structure break. Now, why do we wait for the 4-hour structure break? Because things like this happen, right? I talked about this a little bit last week, right? Like, when do you want to be longing? Do you want to be longing in here and getting chopped up? Or do you want to long once you get the 4-hour structure break here, and then you get a nice trend move up, right? You want to be getting chopped up all in here, or wait for the break, and then trend move up, right? Chopped up all in here, structure break, trend move up. Oh, see, thank you guys for reminding me early. I really should be better about that. Let's get the timer out of here. Thank you guys. Yeah, so we were talking about this. You wait for the 4-hour to break bullish, right? And then you can take your 5-minute structure breaks, you know, your 15-minute structure breaks, all of your structure breaks. We talked about taking this trade yesterday, right? TP1 here, TP2 at the highs, when the 4-hour breaks above here. But really, it's just if your scalp direction from your bias time frame, right? So your 4-hour breaks bearish here, or just break bearish. I said here. Breaks bearish here, down, right? You're taking shorts in here, breaks back bullish, your bias flips, and you're looking for longs. And you're waiting for like structure breaks with the trend, right? So the same way that we were looking for the short up here when this 30-minute broke, right? Why? Because we saw that we had a SFP break of structure on the 30-minute time frame and a 4-hour downtrend. What happens? Explosive trend move down, right? It's the same thing. It's like you get a 30-minute structure break here bullish. What happens? Explosive move up, right? So let's talk a little bit about how to trade a pump like this. So obviously, if we flip to something like the 15-minute time frame and you just look at this pump, right? The 15-minute structure didn't break except for right here. And right there, when it broke, it was actually a perfect range deviation. Right, from the low. So we didn't get like a real break of structure here. Pretty much all the way up, right? And even this 15-minute break, you could have waited for it to break back bullish, got along here, stop loss under there, but there's better ways to do this. So if we know that our 15-minute structure is maintaining bullish, right? There's no breaks here, right? Then we can look at smaller time frames, look for the bearish breaks. What's up, Canadian? I hope you're having a fantastic time on vacation, man. Deserve it, bro. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, man. So you can look at smaller time frames, right? So if we know that the 15-minute hasn't broken bullish, this is kind of our market open trade, right? So we lose our 5-minute structure. Wait, where was it? Right here. So this was, I believe, market open. Like just before market open here, right? So you know that your 15-minute structure is bullish, that you have a 15-minute low, I think it was like here, right? That's holding. So, I mean, it was even just like probably a golden pocket trade, right? Or yeah, discount trade. But you know that your 15 minutes bullish, and so whenever I see this, I get excited, right? Because this is telling me that we now have a structure, so we have our 4-hour that's bullish, our 1-hour that's bullish, our 15 minutes that's bullish, and our 5-minute has flipped bearish. So what does that mean? That means there's going to be an opportunity when this time frame corrects with our bias time frames to trade away from it, right? So you get this pullback. And you can, after this, we're going to zoom in and talk about smaller time frames as well when you're talking about pumps like this, right? But for right now, a smaller time frame breaks bearish here. The opportunity is when this time frame breaks back bullish, you're able to take that trade. And you can wait for the mitigation, right? So if you're talking about like, it pretty much mitigates on the next candle, right? So if we're talking about waiting for confirmation, confirmation is the candle close. So the candle closes, bullish break. You can set your trade at the demand zone, stop loss under the low, and you can ride that up, right? You can take profit like a 3-to-1 if you want, or however you want to manage taking profit, or you can trail it behind market structure, right? But yeah, that's a way that you can get in whenever the entry time frames flip back to align with your bias time frames. It gives you a good entry into the trade. Now, you can take smaller trades than that and have greater risk to reward. So what I was talking about here with like this range deviation trade, what was it, 15-minute time frame? Oh wait, this didn't set a high because it's only one candle, so the low was here. I was wondering why it didn't, because it was like perfect. Yeah, okay. So here's the perfect range deviation trade, because this doesn't count as setting a high because it's only one candle. But if you're looking at this range deviation trade, right, so you break bearish on the 15-minute. When we come down to this range deviation level, like even on the 1 minute here, you can see that we get a 1 minute J-Pal pattern, right? Confirms, comes back up, range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. And the good thing about these like smaller time frame plays is it's a very cheap trade, right? Like if you're entering on the confirmation close of this candle, your stop loss is $157 on Bitcoin, right? And if you had let that run all day, which obviously you would have paid yourself, right? Probably like a 3-to-1. But if you had let that run, it gets absurd, right? It's like a 15-to-1 risk to reward. And if we just follow like 1 minute structure, now I'm talking, this is on like major pump days, right? Normally I like the 5 minute, but if we're getting up only and you're feeling FOMO and you feel like you don't have an entry, let's look at the next time that we get like a bearish break. Okay, so we get one here, but that just came down to mitigate, right? But even in this one, right, you break bearish. If you got back in on the bullish break of that, went up from there, right? Where's the next bearish break? The next bearish break is, let's see. So we have one here, but we have a little fake out here. Let's look at the 2 minute. Is the 2 minute break there? Okay, so yeah, let's use the 2 minute here. So we have a 2 minute break here. You could have done the 1 minute. You would have eventually got the trade down here, right? Whenever it breaks the high, get in here, you ride it up, right? But you would have gotten kind of a little chopped up here, right? So you would have taken a loss here and then taken the big win here, right? So if you want to reduce a little noise, you can use something like the 2 minute. And you break it bearish here, then you break it back bullish here, enter on confirmation, and you're in the trade on the way up, right? And it's just easier than taking the trade and setting like just some arbitrary stop loss or layering in as it goes down, right? I'd rather be long quick and then be able to enter again than ride through something like this, right? And using market structure is what's going to allow you to do that. What's up, Trade Intuition? Good to see you. What's up, JB? Good to see you, bro. Do y'all have any questions on scalping with market structure? Or just any questions that, you know, today, like these pump days can definitely raise some questions or anything that you guys want to go over. We'll get into the levels and stuff in a minute. What's up, TF? Good to see you, bro. Basically, the important thing to know is that whenever you're in like a strong uptrend, like a 4-hour bias time frame uptrend, you should be getting excited about lower time frame bearish breaks. Not for the short. Now, if like the 1 hour breaks or something, sure. But really, you should be looking for that as an opportunity for whenever that market structure then breaks bullish again on, if you want to zoom into a smaller time from like a 5 minute or whatever you want to use, as an opportunity to get long, right? And so we can talk about another strategy. So we can talk about just following the 15-minute market structure. So let's dissect this pump in that way. So if we look at when the 15-minute market structure flipped bullish. That was, let's see, where were we? That was like right here. Right? So your 15-minute market structure breaks bullish here. And then you set, if you're looking for good RR, you would see this break here. And you can get long there with a stop loss below these lows because you did set a high here. Right? And then you're in with a really cheap stop loss. And then you can just trail it up, right? So you would have gotten the trade up to, let's see, where's the break? Up to here, right? You would have gotten stopped out here. Creates another opportunity. Price comes down, comes back up, breaks back bullish here. You can either get long here with your stop loss here, or whenever you break here with your stop down here, right? So let's say you did that because you wanted a better RR. We pull that high first. No. Wait, did we? No. Yeah, so you can get long like this and ride it up, and then you're trailing behind 15-minute, and you don't get stopped out until here, right? So what does that end up being? Like a 2.52 to 1. Maybe you took profit at a 3 to 1, right? So you can use market structure to trail. Then the 15-minute breaks bullish again. You're long now, and then you're just trailing it up once we make. So if the market structure then breaks bullish again here, you can move your stop loss into profit here and continue riding the 15-minute pump up as long as this pump wants to go, right? Now we are very overextended now, but that doesn't really matter until we start seeing some cracks in market structure. If we look at the 1 minute, we haven't broke 1 minute structure until we lose these lows here. So right now we're chilling. If we lose these lows here, it might create another opportunity. We did hit a spider line, getting a little correction off of that, but we didn't set any significant lows on the way up, so our market structure low is still here. What's up, Alex? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, dude, I'd totally be down to come trade with you guys. That's awesome, man. Just let me know. Can you go over scalping the 5 minute with the 50 and 200 EMAs? Yeah, for sure. So that's another strategy you can use. Man, you didn't even get a real, you haven't even gotten a real retest of that in this pump. So it wouldn't have been very helpful in this pump. It's been running away from us. So look at 3 minute. So you do on the 3 minute, you get a couple tests here before you take off, but I would anticipate the first time that we come back and test it, you would look for like a 1 to 2 minute market structure break. Under the 200, you'll probably get a bounce release up to the 50. Liquidity traders talking about liquidity to the downside and the price goes down. Is there a way to find liquidity? So to understand liquidity, you just have to understand like where stop losses are in the market, right? So we just, and you'll see this in volume too. So for example, there's a lot of liquidity in this high, right? So longs that are being entered down here can be exited with the liquidity up here. So if we look, for example, at the, when we look at ETH in a minute, J-Rock, I'll go over that better because ETH loves that strategy, but give me a minute here. So if you look at the volume, you can see it in volume, right? So we come up to this area and you get a big spike in volume, right? So that's like the liquidity from the stop losses in this high, longs are closing out, get a pullback, and then we make another attempt, right? You'll notice that when we pierce it the second time, there's way less volume because we've already snagged that liquidity. But understanding that is just understanding like where we can go to snipe liquidity. So like market open a lot of times we'll go to where the liquidity is. And I believe we saw that this morning. So yeah, so like before market open, we get this 5 minute inverse J-Pal pattern, right? We get this bearish sweep. Because people are trailing their stops with market structure, right? We come up, we SFP, people get short, induce shorts, and then just rip it back up, right? So a lot of times you'll see that in like these Bitcoin pumps is you'll get a pump, you'll get a sideways to induce shorts, and you can see this on like liquidity charts if you're looking at it, and then you get a pump through that liquidity. And it's just people building longs and then exiting longs into the stop losses of the shorts. But yeah, you can use like liquidity maps and stuff, but really, if you just understand where the liquidity's at, that's what's really important. A good lesson on liquidity is like back here. So we know that there's a lot of stop losses here, right? We know that we have 4-hour bullish market structure after we put in this J-Pal pattern down here, right? So we know that ultimately we're coming to attack this. So what do they do here? They come close to it, they sell off. 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 Basically, they're trying to build as much longs in this area so that whenever they pierce this, they can sell into the liquidity up here, right? And with every time that we come close to it but don't take it, you're just adding more liquidity up here to then take whenever you finally reach there. Yeah, take care, Alex. Have a good night, bro. Yeah, trade intuition. Liquidity is everywhere. That's why like market structure is the most important part, because it'll let you know like which liquidity is gonna get taken first. Like obviously there's liquidity here, there's liquidity here, there's liquidity here, there's liquidity here, right? But we're not going to come attack that stuff unless we get a market structure confirmation to the downside that lets us know that's going to happen, right? I mean, guys, really, at the end of the day, like, if you guys learned something, I mean, just 4-hour market structure, guys. Like, I hope you guys are starting to see it, right? Like, you break bearish here. Like, I think it's worth pointing this out. Like, the only real fake out that you get in the like all of the past like 4-hour market structure breaks is this one here on news. All of the other ones, right? Like you break bullish, big pump. You break bearish, big dump. You break bullish, news fake out. You break bullish, big pump. You break bearish, big dump. You break bullish, big pump. Like there's a reason that if you go back to all of my live streams, I tell you guys at the start, if we're guilty until proven innocent or innocent until proven guilty. And the reason is because I believe that if you guys take trades in the general direction of the 4-hour market structure, you guys will lose less trades because it is much more forgiving, right? Like you can short here and make money down here, right? You can long here and make money up here. It's so much more forgiving to trade with the 4-hour trend. Okay, I know we've gone over a lot of stuff, and I know I talked fast. So is there any questions on anything that we've gone over? It feels late sometimes on the 4-hour. Yeah, so I mean the moves are much bigger, right? So you get your 4-hour confirmation here, and then the price continues to move up. Let's see, 7% with a 2% downside, right? Like here, the price continues to move down 9% with a 5% stop loss, right? But it's not necessarily that you have to use that as your stop, right? Like you, in this case, it would actually be better to use this break down here and then put your stop loss here, right? And then it's like a 4-to-1, right? Kind of similar. It's the same exact logic we talked about with this break. Whenever the break is big like this and you don't retrace that much, the best trade is here because the risk to reward is better. But in terms of it being late, right? I mean, people think they're early, like here, and then it just rogues you because it hasn't broke structure yet. And also, if you're trading with the 4-hour, it just creates so much more opportunities, right? So whenever you break structure and you set a low here, we talked about this a lot in this range here. So the closer that you come to your 4-hour low, the more excited you should be getting, right? Because now you can enter the trade here, stop loss here, and target this high here. And you can just you can scalp. You don't have to necessarily just let a 4-hour trade ride, but you're using the 4-hour as your bias time frame. So when your bias time frame is up, if you're taking longs, you're going to get a lot bigger reactions out of like a 5-minute break or a 15-minute break. Yeah, so yeah, Kelly, so it depends. So if you're trading swings, I'll get to your question in a second. But yeah, so like then you close the trade up here and your 4-hour low, hold on, let's clean this up. Then you close your trade up here and your 4-hour low moves here. Or I'm sorry, your 4-hour low moves here. When the price comes down here, you get excited again, right? Because you have a 4-hour strong low, you can place your stop loss under here, target up here. Comes up here, doesn't quite break the high, right? You can add a little trade in here. I remember taking that one up to the highs, right? Then it breaks that, and your 4-hour low moves here. Now you're not blessed with another big pullback, but you can look for those. If you understand where your 4-hour strong low is, then you're just looking for what's the risk to reward when this breaks, right? Or what's the risk to reward down to that. Now, Kelly, to answer your question, so it does depend on what the risk to reward looks like, right? So I'll give you like 3 examples. So with this trade here, I would enter on the actual break itself, but you did get a nice little mitigation dump as well. So that would be this 4-hour break here, where you have the 4-hour SFP into the break of structure. And then you do end up getting a mitigation that you could get long on, but the thing is, it's going to depend on, like, if you understand your strong low is here, then you know that your stop loss is 2%. For a 4-hour swing for me, that makes sense to just get long on the break. So maybe you get half long here and then half long on some sort of dip lower. But if your risk to reward looks good coming up to, I think we were aiming at the golden pocket, right? It was like a 4 risk to reward. That makes sense to me to get long there. But another example would be back here, right? So back here, you get your 4-hour break of structure here. You can take your fib tool and you can get in at things like the golden pocket or the 786. This is very similar to how we treated this range in here. So when you come down to the 618, you say, okay, what's the percent to my stop loss now? 786. Oh, okay, it's a little better, right? And you can get in on that retrace. Then once you break this, your stop loss goes under here, and you can take some profit out here. And you're just riding it up. And then where do you close? Obviously, you would have taken profit at the week high, right? But, or I'm sorry, the daily week high. It's not a weekly high. But then whenever you get the 4-hour break here, you close the rest of it, right? So maybe you take some profit here, take some profit here, and then close out here. That's a pretty good trade from down here, right? There's one more example, which is what I recommended for like this break. So what happens if the 4-hour structure breaks, but you don't get this mitigation dump, right? If you don't get this mitigation dump, then you have to look at risk to reward another way, right? So we break 4-hour structure here, and we set a strong low with these two, or it's not a strong low yet, right? But we set a low with these 2 red candles. Now, that is about a 2% stop loss. For a 4-hour trade in October, that makes sense to me, right? So whenever you break this high, you can now use this down here as your stop. Or you would have had to be pretty aggressive with it because it rocketed through. But if we come back to this area, right, your strong low is here. We still haven't set a new strong low. So our strong low on our 4 hours is still here. So maybe if you're looking for some sort of retrace, you can take some fibs from here. Golden pockets here, right? Not bad. Look for like, I'm not saying it'll come back down here, right? This daily candle is beautiful. This is a beautiful daily candle. But it's just understanding like where your strong low is and what the percent stop loss is needed and what time frame you're trading, right? Obviously, for 4-hour traders, you're just looking for what's the percent stop loss to the 4-hour strong low. But if you're more like intraday trading or day trading, scalping, you're just looking at the 4-hour for your bias, and then you're looking for a break against that trend that can then break back bullish to get long with a new strong low to take up. Put a 1 in chat if this has made sense. I know I've been saying a lot. All right, guys, I appreciate it. All right, any other questions on Bitcoin here? All right, cool. Well, if you guys want to look at any altcoins, do I think we can go more? Yes, I do. What would change my mind on that? Does anyone know what would make the chart bearish to me or to you guys? What do you guys think would make the chart bearish? Yeah, a 4-hour break of structure. If we break the 4-hour structure bearish again, we're probably coming for the daily low. Yeah, price went down. Sure, that works too. I'll take it. Here, let's see. Break it here, break it back bullish here. I would say like 117,600 for you, Jenna. Kind of stop loss at entry. If you come down there, the thing is like, did it mitigate this? I mean, you could get a bounce from that level. I mean, that's where I would protect yourself at entry. Just understand that you may, like, if you get an opposing break of structure after that, like, you can get back in with a better stop loss right up to this high. So just understand that. But if you're talking about how to be completely protected, I'll tell you this: if this high breaks, you can move it here, and that would be like 118,300. So that would be like a nice little gain. So if this high breaks, you can move it here. No problem. Like I said, your 1 minute strong low is here, like 118,100. So until 118,100 breaks, you're still looking at coming here. All right, cool, guys. Let's check out ETH. I'll tell you this: whenever ETH comes back under the 200, it's gonna be nice. Whenever ETH pumps like this, like so what you were talking about. Who had the question? Okay, whoever had the 200, 200 question. So this ETH loves this strategy, right? So with ETH, you get the 50 across the 200, big pump underneath the 200. It's a good entry level to buy back, right? Combine that with a structure break here, right? Get long here, stop loss under here, take it up, right? You get a structure break, and you take some profit, right? But yeah. Yeah, ETH loves this strategy. Same thing on the way down, right? Your first re-entry is at the 200. And you can zoom in on this strategy as well during like big pumps, but just understand you're better off combining it with some structure, right? You win this one here up to the highs, and then you get stopped out for a small loss on this one. It doesn't work very well ranging, but like even coming up here, right? You get the cross, the big move underneath, pop up. Yeah. So you can definitely trade that strategy. Okay, but let's take a look at. So these altcoins have had their 4-hour breaks, which is nice. So we got our 4-hour break of structure. Retrace back to our decision block. Up we go. Break here. Stop loss goes here. Up we go. Where are we looking for retracements? So our first real, I need a clean chart. This one's messy. Yeah. That's what we were talking about on the stream, right? You break this, you break 4-hour, you come into demand, you pop out of demand. So how do you catch this trade? Wow. Beautiful. This is how you catch this trade. Exactly what we talked about on stream, right? I told you, wait for the 4-hour to break, wait for a 15-minute break, look for it to break back bullish, get in on that, stop loss below the low, up, right? That's why we talk about these things, because you look in your demand level, you look for a 15-minute bullish break, you get excited when the 15-minute breaks bearish, right here, right? Right here, right? Because it was just like we talked about on the stream last night, right? This creates an opportunity when you break bearish to break back bullish. And I know it sounds like I'm repeating the same things over and over again, but it's because I am. And if you've been watching the channel long enough, you know why. Because this stuff just works, right? So you create the opportunity here. You break bearish. And then you look at your key level. You wait for the market structure to flip back bullish. You get a nice J-Pal pattern at the lows. You break, you get in, and you ride it up. What's up, Allsay? Good to see you. All right, so let's look. Yeah, the resistance is still the same on ETH. I still like about 44.12. Yeah, about 44.12-ish. What's up, Mortimer? Good to see you, bro. Don't worry, Barb. I will. I know you guys are listening. I know you guys are listening. All right. So we got our break of structure. I'm gonna run through these alts really quick. So we got our 4-hour break of structure on Sol. We were talking about this 1-hour J-Pal at the lows, right? If you guys have one pattern in your just in your mind, look for the SFP break of structure with a small stop loss at the lows. Recognize this pattern. This pattern is a reversal pattern, and it will make you a lot of money. Right? J-Pal at the lows. Okay. Because what it does is it creates structure to the downside to then break to the upside with a small stop loss. It's a printing pattern. Okay. So Sol looks like it's getting started. Let's see. Breaks 4-hour structure. Where would we likely mitigate? This decision block. We're looking for a dip into the decision block. And what are we... Can anyone tell me what we're looking for inside of this area or this area? It's a 15-minute structure break, right? Stop loss below the low, ride to the highs. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So, exactly. That's the one. That's the one. Until then, you can just keep following market structure if you're scalping this, right? What happens? We get a bearish break of structure here. What does that do? It gets us excited for when we break structure back bullish to get long in here with the stop loss under here to ride it up. Now, if we get a bigger mitigation is still a question to come, right? But, I mean, right now you just had a trade here, stop loss here, go up. If this breaks, you can get in here, stop loss under here if you really want to ride it up, right? And that's just structure. It's just following 15-minute structure. So the questions of like where we can go, obviously my target remains the same. We'll probably have some turbulence at 224, but really the target's like 230, 230. Okay, cool. Let's check out something else. Let's check out Sui. Man, this Sui trade, I told you guys I was bullish on it yesterday. How much did we pump today? 8%. This Sui trade has been on our radar for forever. Playing out nicely. 308 cents. Now, this is how you like plan a macro trade out, right? So it's this trade is the exact same trade as this trade was. Right? It's the exact same trade. And what is this? This is accumulation range, creates a huge imbalance out of it. We come back to that imbalance and we pump out of it. Alright, accumulation range, we pump out of it, we finally come back to it, and we pump out of it. The market is going to do the same thing at the level. Well, if we get a structure break that lets us know that it's going to do the same thing at the level, then we take the trade, pump it up. Yeah, if you have good entries, Joey, you've told me your entries. You have really good entries. Yeah, you can hold those. Your entries are like at the 4-hour low. Like, if we're looking at like your Sui entry, right? Yeah, you're in from like the lows. You can definitely hold it. All right, I'll take a few coins here. We've gone over a lot today, so I mean, if we're gonna dump, you're gonna see a structure break, right? So we have like a 1-hour structure break here now. So you can watch 340. If 340 breaks, we're likely gonna have some sort of sell-off. So who cares about the unlock, right? If this level doesn't break, we're going up, right? I'm not saying that obviously like fundamental analysis matters, right? But just for people who are in trades, don't, watch for key structure break. Or I'm sorry, a 1-hour low is actually now at 348. Yeah, so you have an even closer invalidation, right? You break 348, you might come down for a bit. Wait for the 4 hours or the 1-hour structure to break bullish again, take the trade, stop loss below the low, ride it up. But we are in the season of leaving runners, right? We're in a 4-hour uptrend. Things are looking good. It's Uptober, baby. Okay. If things change, I will be the first to let you know. If the 4-hour market structure changes on these coins, I will let you know, and we will go back to shorting them. Can price go down instead of up when it goes to the accumulation range? So, how can I explain this? So, the most probable outcome out of these ranges is going to be what it did before, right? Because there's resting orders here, and it's an area that smart money pumped it from before, right? But how do we tell, right? So if you want to get in on confirmation, like some people don't have the time to wait for confirmation, they just want to take the trade at the level, stop loss if it fails, and ride it up. But if you have the time to look for confirmation, yeah, I mean the price could. Somebody could decide that they don't believe in Sui anymore and they're a huge whale and they just sell right through this level. Like that could happen. But I need a chart that I can draw on. Yeah, so like this doesn't have the right data. Hold on. Right, but here's your confirmation. Right, if you're waiting for confirmation, you get a 1 hour structure break here. You take your golden pocket. Boom, take the trade at the golden pocket. You now have bullish structure on the 1 hour, stop loss below the lows, riding it up to the highs. Yeah, like an 8-to-1 trade. So you can wait for confirmation, and I think we talked about this trade yesterday, right? You can wait for the bullish trade, wait for the retrace, and long it up. So all set. So if the 4 hour is bullish, I like 5-minute and 15-minute bullish breaks of structure. If the 15-minute is already bullish, I like a 5-minute break of structure. If the 15-minute is bearish, I mean I still like a 5-minute break of structure. But if you want to be really safe, like a 15-minute break of structure bullish under 4 hour is going to have a very high likelihood of taking you to the 4 hour week high. Now, you're not going to win every trade, right? But I would say you're going to win more than you lose, and the risk to reward is going to be high enough that you're going to be profitable. So if you're under 4 hour bullish structure, you're looking at the 15-minute for bullish breaks. If you're under 4 hour bearish structure, you're looking at 15-minute bearish breaks, right? And you're trading with the trend. You're using your bias time frame and your entry time frame to have the highest chance of success. It's nice to have a teaching stream again, and not just a TA stream. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Okay, I'm gonna look at all the coins that have been posted now, but I'm gonna cut them off now because I've been talking for a while. I'll go. Yeah. If you want to throw your entry in there, Joey, I can give you like more personal advice. Not financial advice, of course. Okay. Appreciate that, all set. Okay, so Algo's done the job. It's done the work. 4 hours bullish. You have a accumulation range to mitigate down here. Whether or not it will mitigate that, it's going to depend on if we get some sort of actionable structure breakdown. If this is just going to be some sort of like start of the month pump, it may just run away from you. But I have a feeling you're already in a trade, so that's great. If you're looking for targets, previous lows is a good target to take some profit. It's going to be like 2277. Yeah, 2277 is a good target. If you're looking for a stop loss, we look at 30-minute here. Yeah, as long as 2190 holds, your entry at 2120. Oh, you have a nice entry. If you really want to hold on to it, you could use like 2150 as your stop. If you want to save profits, you can just follow the 30-minute structure for your stop loss, like 2190. Keep in mind, if you get stopped out, you can just wait for it to break bullish again and get back in with a new stop loss and ride it up. You don't have to sit through downside. But you're going to have a little bit of turbulence here, but there wasn't much volume here. I don't see much trouble getting through this. I think 2227, and then you'll get some sort of mitigation, and then you'll go up. So if you want to take some profit here, kind of trail your stop loss. If we make a new low here, show up below that, it should be fine. Yeah, if you want to ride this thing, I would say consider paying yourself a little bit here, and I would just follow it behind 30-minute structure. As long as 30-minute structure stays bullish, like you might on if this was Bitcoin, I'd say 15-minute structure, but you might get some sort of like liquidity grab on the 15-minute. But if it's going to be like a genuine up only pump, 30-minute structure should hold. Otherwise, I mean, you still have some nice mitigation levels down here to mitigate at, so like this little decision block. Of course, no problem. Okay. Let's look at. So we already looked at that. Caspa. Yeah, we can look at Caspa. Wait, that's not Caspa. It's Cas, right? That's why. Okay. So Caspa's working on breaking the 4-hour right now. If it breaks the 4-hour here, which would be like about 8 cents, then a pullback here would be great. But let's see where your targets would be. Yeah, I would say wait for it to break 4-hour, and then you can go for like some sort of 15-minute break to get in on, target the high. If you're looking for like if you believe in Caspa and you think that this is going to be the low, you can get in on a 4-hour break, trying to target like the next leg. But that's quite a big stop loss, so I would consider waiting for some sort of pullback and some sort of market structure break on the lows to protect yourself, and then ride up. But there's other coins that are further ahead than Caspa is, so let Caspa prove it's ready on the 4-hour, and then I'd say it's innocent till proven guilty. It's still actually it didn't even pull this low. Okay, I misspoke. The 4-hour structure break is actually up here still. Yeah, so let it break 8.1 cents, and then enter on some sort of mitigation to come back up. That's what I would do. Alternatively, if you're in a trade on it already, I would just use the 15-minute market structure. So you broke this high, so your low is down here. Yeah, we didn't set a low in here. So your strong low is down here on the 15-minute. You can also look like 5-minute. And these coins are just running away. Yeah, I mean 5-minute structure, you've got a strong low here. So pick your poison: 70, 7, 8, 12, or 7, 8, 8. If you're in a trade, once you break this high, you can move your stop loss here, like 7, 9, 26. Just keep riding it up. Right, and once you break this structure here, I'm pretty sure this is probably a golden pocket. Yeah, like you can just ride these pumps from the golden pocket, strong low, take the structure up. And like these altcoins will kind of build that way too. So like this is probably a golden pocket from this high. Yeah, golden pocket, strong low, enter, stop loss, and you're riding it up. So I would say just for now, I would just follow 15-minute structure if you're trying to scalp this thing. Otherwise, let it break the 4-hour at 81 and then let it pull back and give you some sort of entry to get into the next leg. Probably somewhere in this like decision block area. Yeah, altcoins, like you can just trade golden pockets on pumps like this. Like, just make sure you understand you're pulling your fib from a strong low. You must be pulling it from a strong low, because otherwise you're just going to be in no man's land with this stop loss. That doesn't make sense. Alright guys, well thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's always fun to do these streams. It was awesome to go over all this stuff today. If you guys liked today's stream, just make sure you like the stream, join the Discord. Let me know you like this kind of content. Maybe drop a comment. Appreciate you guys all being here. 28 viewers, 25 likes. You guys are awesome. As always, my name is Market Cipher. Much love. Trade safe. Take care, guys.